in from Helen Cliff. So Helen has been working with us. She works for So Contented, and she's been working with us for the last, nearly a year, I think now, around our marketing and social media. And I think this has been just feedback from Helen has always been how much she's really enjoyed doing this piece of work, because they've not actually worked with a charity before like ours, and I think she's learned a lot probably over her and Gemma, who runs So Contented, in the last 12 months. So it's really nice that Helen's kind of thrown in a question as well, which is great. So Helen's asked, I'd be interested to know the worst assumption any professional or professional service has ever made about you or anyone you know that's been in the same situation. And when assumptions are made, do you think service users feel comfortable challenging them?
That is
ties a little bit to what we were just talking about, actually, doesn't it?
I think with this, I'll tell a little story about when I first got employed at probation, and I was down at an external delivery site in Leeds, and at that delivery site there are eight sets of stone stairs going all the way down. So when somebody's speaking at the bottom, you can hear everything at the very top. You know, wherever you do it, you can hear everything at the very top. So I was with my friend walking down the steps, and I just got the job at probation. He just got a job at a drug and alcohol treatment service. And there were a fair few people with lived experience that were in recovery that have got jobs at varying places. Now, somebody that worked at probation was walking downstairs with somebody else that was working at probation at the time. And we heard them say that, have you heard said person has got a job at probation? Meaning me. They're handing the keys of the asylum over to the lunatics. Meaning, well, we took it to mean that actually the fact that lots of people with lived experience were getting jobs, and whether I was right or whether I was wrong, that felt like it was an assumption made on me and my professionalism. Now, at the time, I had to challenge that through the proper channels, so I went to my manager at probation and said, that was said, you know, I said, I felt like it was aimed at me because we heard it and, you know, they'd mentioned my name in getting the job. Now, if I'd have been a service user at the time, I don't know if I'd have felt comfortable challenging that. And I think this is where we sometimes have to be more supportive and have to be ultra supportive actually, is that, you know, that we might say something wrong and it doesn't mean that we have a certain idea or belief or value. Sometimes language can get very easily taken out of context. So, but we have to be prepared to support somebody in making a challenge or making a complaint, you know, especially with something like that. Now, that could have put me off wanting to work with probation. Luckily, I mean, I've progressed since then. But if I'd have been in a little bit of a different headspace, I might have been very bitter and twisted and turned around and wanted to smash the place up. I don't mean physically, I mean verbally, but I knew that I had a channel to go through where I could challenge that and challenge it with policies and procedures as well, because I knew as a professional, not as a lunatic taking over the asylum, that the policies and procedures were there to protect me in a situation like that. So
yeah, and that's, you know, it's not a very pleasant experience, but probably one that you've kind of learned from. And also, I suppose it makes you think about how we support other people who are going through this process as well. And you're absolutely right. I think I've always said over the years, whenever I've worked in services, if you don't see any complaints, that always worries me. I'm always a bit nervous when, you know, the only way you grow and learn is through getting that feedback, whether it's positive or negative. So, and you know, you did feel comfortable to challenge it in that way. But yeah, we've got to acknowledge that people may not feel comfortable, and we need to provide as much support and as much access to those policies and things that we've talked about to make sure people can do that. But yeah, so thanks for sharing that with us. But yeah,
I mean, the reason I think that's also important is as well is because when somebody's got lived experience, that is not a sum of who they are.
no.
And it's something that you picked up with me on interview, is that when I enter any job or role or task, I'm not Scott, the person that's in recovery, that's, you know, been in and out of prison or done this, done that, done the other, slept on the street for how many years. I'm Scott, the professional, doing a professional role, and the only thing that my lived experience gives me is probably 1/8 of my understanding. The rest is what I picked up as going through university. I learn off everybody else. I learn off service users day to day, and I'm a professional doing a professional role. Now, for me, when somebody says the lunatics are taking over the asylum, they don't see professionals doing professional roles. They see service users that have got the job. I'm not, and many people I come across are not service users that have got jobs. They're professionals that were picked because they can do the job.